The story of the Lost Labyrinth of Hawara is a captivating tale that blends ancient wonder, first-hand historical accounts, and a modern archaeological mystery. Here is the full, true story, separating the legend from the verified facts. The story begins not with a myth, but with the awestruck accounts of classical historians who visited Egypt when it was already ancient. 1. Herodotus, c. 484, c. 425 BCE. The father of history was the first to describe it. Around 450 BCE, he claimed to have visited a colossal labyrinth near Lake Moeris, now Lake Karun, in the Fayum oasis. He described it as a structure surpassing even the pyramids in awe. He said it contained 3,000 rooms, 1,500 underground and 500 above, all connected by a bewildering maze of passages and courtyards. He wrote, "The passages through the houses and the various windings of the paths across the courts caused an endless astonishment as one passed from a court into rooms, from rooms into galleries, from galleries into more rooms, and then into more courts." He was told it was built by 12 kings, including Amenemhat III, as a grand meeting place and a monument to showcase their power and unity. 2. Strabo, c. 64 BCE, c. 24 CE. The geographer visited Egypt around 25 BCE. He also described the labyrinth, though the upper structures were already significantly ruined in his time. He was particularly impressed by the skill of the construction and the complexity of the stonework. 3. Diodorus Siculus, 1st century BCE. He also mentioned the labyrinth, though his account is believed to be based on earlier sources rather than a personal visit. He repeated the claim of its immense size and complexity, cementing its legendary status in the classical world. For centuries, these accounts were the primary source of the labyrinth's legend, considered by many to be a magnificent exaggeration. The historical reality, the pyramid complex of Amenemhat III. The truth behind the legend is, in many ways, just as impressive. The builder. The labyrinth was not built by 12 kings. It was the mortuary temple complex of the Pharaoh Amenemhat III, c. 1860 BCE to 1814 BCE, of the 12th dynasty. It was attached to his second pyramid at Hawara, in the Fayum oasis. The purpose. This was not a maze designed to trap people like the Minotaur's labyrinth of Greek myth. In ancient Egypt, a labyrinth, labyrinthos in Greek, referred to a complex multi-courtyard temple. Its purpose was religious and administrative, a grand center for the pharaoh's mortuary cult, where priests performed rituals to honor his spirit for eternity. It likely also served as a regional administrative center. The name, the Egyptians called it the temple at the entrance to the lake, or simply the complex of Amenemhat III. The term labyrinth was applied to it later by the Greeks, who were reminded of their own mythological structure. The modern search, unraveling the mystery. For over a millennium, the labyrinth was lost, its location forgotten, and its description by Herodotus dismissed as fantasy. That changed in the 19th century. Carl Richard Lepsius, 1843. The pioneering German Egyptologist identified the site at Hawara as the location of the labyrinth. His team excavated the area and found the vast foundation bed of the temple, a single massive limestone plateau, not individual building foundations. This suggested a single, coherent, and gigantic structure, just as the ancients had described. Flinders Petrie, 1888. The father of Egyptian archaeology, conducted the most significant excavations at Hawara. What he found both confirmed the ancient accounts and dashed hopes of a still-standing maze. He uncovered the foundation platform, measuring a staggering 304 meters by 244 meters, nearly 1,000 ft by 800 ft, larger than the Great Temple of Karnak. He described the foundation as a massive stone foundation of a single great structure, but found it had been systematically and ruthlessly quarried. For centuries, the Romans and later locals had prized the high-quality limestone, carting it away to build the city of Fayum, and for lime burning. All that remained was a vast, featureless field of stone chips and rubble. Petrie wrote of his disappointment, stating the destruction was so complete that it is impossible to form a ground plan. He could only find tiny fragments of the grand pillars and statues that once stood there. The maze explained. Petrie theorized that the labyrinth's legendary complexity came from its architectural design. It was likely a series of columned courtyards, shrines, and chapels arranged in a grid-like pattern, all enclosed within a single, massive outer wall. To a visitor like Herodotus, walking through this seemingly endless series of identical connected courts and rooms would have felt utterly bewildering, like being in a maze. The labyrinth today, a true lost wonder. Today, the site is largely as Petrie left it. What you see, a vast, flat, barren field of limestone chips and rubble next to the heavily eroded mud brick pyramid of Amenemhat III. To the untrained eye, it looks like a quarry or a vacant lot. There is nothing standing above ankle height. The underground mystery. Herodotus and Strabo mentioned extensive underground chambers. Petrie discovered a few tombs and crypts in the area, but not the vast subterranean palace described by the ancients. The high water table of the Fayum oasis has flooded the area, making any underground exploration extremely difficult. This is the last great mystery of the Labyrinth of Hawara. What, if anything, remains hidden and waterlogged beneath the stones? The Mataha Expedition 2008. A Belgian-Egyptian team used ground-penetrating radar, GPR, to survey the site. They claimed their results showed a vast, grid-like underground structure beneath the stone chip foundation. They released a tantalizing radar image that looked like a labyrinthine pattern. However, the results were controversial. The Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities reportedly halted further investigation, and the full data has never been officially published or peer-reviewed, leaving the claim unverified. The true story of the Lost Labyrinth of Hawara is this. It was a real place. The mortuary temple of Pharaoh Amenemhat III. The accounts of Herodotus and others, while perhaps exaggerated in number, were fundamentally correct in describing a building of unparalleled scale and complexity for its time. It was not a maze of myth, but a functional religious complex so vast and intricate that it earned the name Labyrinth and inspired legends for centuries. Its fate was tragically common. It was dismantled stone by later civilizations who saw it not as a monument to preserve, but as a convenient quarry. The labyrinth was not lost to time, it was actively erased. The mystery endures not because we don't know where it is, but because its grandeur exists only in the words of ancient historians and the immense empty foundation they left behind, a ghost of a wonder on the edge of the desert.